Hello, everyone. We're just getting started about a minute late, but so glad to see you guys here today. Um, Looking forward to getting to share more information about Brightspace and everything with y'all today. A couple of things to note before we really get started. The closed captioning has been enabled, so you are welcome to show or hide those depending on your needs. We also have the Zoom Q&A box that's open for any questions that you might have throughout today's session. A recording of the session will be posted to our YouTube playlist, and we will send a follow-up email with a link to that playlist, as well as a copy of the slide deck and the Q&As from today. Just keep in mind with those sessions that when they get posted onto YouTube, sometimes they aren't posted immediately. So just be aware it might take up to a week for them to post on YouTube, but in the meantime, you'll have that playlist available. But all that being said, we also have the chat open and available for you to kind of respond in the chat as well and speak with me and Whitney. So that's something new for this month. But let's go ahead and continue. So with today's agenda, we will start with some quick introductions, and from there we'll talk about some Brightspace basics. Next, we will have a demo in the platform, and to finish off, we'll have time for a discussion and Q&A. So a little bit about us. My name is Victoria Fulhenshow, and I'm a customer enablement specialist here at D2L. I do have my colleague Whitney here with me today, and she'll be answering any questions that you may have in the Q&A chat. A quick fun fact about us is that we are both former K-12 teachers, and Whitney actually got to use Brightspace in her own classroom. And you guys might be familiar, but for those who are new, before we get too far, I do like to clarify just a few terms. You might have heard of D2L or Brightspace before. To clarify, D2L is the company that Whitney and I work for. Brightspace is the product that we make, a learning management system. And depending on where you work, your school district might call Brightspace something like eClass, iLearnNYC, Spark, the VLE. And although some of your districts might have different names for their learning management system, if you're here, they should all refer to Brightspace. In addition, our Brightspace community is an online forum filled with resources and opportunities to connect with other Brightspace users. There should be a link in the chat coming up soon for you to join Brightspace community if you have not done so yet. We're going to go over some Brightspace basics. So the Brightspace basics, for those who are less familiar with these tools, just wanted to give a quick overview of them before we really get into them live in the platform. So first, we have our home pages. Those are our landing page for your courses, your organization, or like your school district / school. Every school district kind of has it set up a little bit differently, but we have our district level homepage and then our course specific homepages as well. And you'll get to see examples of those in our platform. But the homepage is like an online version of your classroom bulletin board. It's what students and teachers will see when they first log in, and it's used to display useful information and resources. Next, we have our course banner. The course banner is a great place to personalize your course or display information. It definitely adds some color to your course, and you'll get to see some fun things with that today. After that, we have our activity feed. The activity feed is the perfect place to share messages and assignments, and you can also provide links to materials and external resources right onto the activity feed as well. And last but not least, we have content. This is the space where students can navigate through their course content, such as lessons, assignments, quizzes, and more. Let's move on to our learning objectives for the demo portion of today. First, we'll discuss the homepage and show different ways that it can be customized. Then we will show how to create an activity feed post. And last, we'll share tips on how to create and organize your course content. So all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into Brightspace. All right, so you should now be seeing my organizational homepage here. Like I said, some school districts will have this be a district homepage. Some will have this be a school level homepage. So depending on what your district has set up, that's what you'll see. And this just essentially gives you any of those like district resources, any of those notes saying, hey, we're having a snow day today. Anything like that can be shared within that district or school level homepage. But I'd like to go to our course homepage, and to do so, we will just go to our select a course button here. Many people like to call it our waffle. And the course I'm going to today is our junior intermediate science course. So one thing you'll notice is that our district homepage looks very similar to our course homepage. This is intentional to make sure that the look, the feel, everything is the same and consistent for students and teachers to be able to easily learn, navigate it, and engage within the platform easily. So within this particular homepage, you'll also notice that with my navigation bar, I actually have icons for our navigation bar. The icon-based navigation is really great for those early readers. So that way they can help to associate those pictures to the words as they learn the platform, but as well as they learn how to read. So say you don't want icon-based navigation on your course, I'll show you how you can change that back to text-based, or if you're already set up to text, I'll show you how you can change that to icon-based. So let's go over here to edit our nav bar. To do so, you'll go to the ellipses in the top right corner, and when you hover over it, it says nav bar options. And here I can edit the shared nav bar. If you haven't made a copy of your nav bar before, you might have to press customize this nav bar and it'll ask you to make a copy. The process is the same though, so if you're following along, you're welcome to do either. Here you can see that our nav bar gives us the opportunity to rename it here, which is best practice if you're making a copy. You have our links that are available here. And we have the option to enable icon-based or keep it as a text-based navigation. For the purpose of this, I'm going to keep it text-based, and you can see how much it really transforms the homepage. Some other fun options that we have here to change our nav bar are the theme, and then some options to kind of change the title here. But I want to show you what the theme looks like. This might be something that your school district might have set, so that way the permissions are only for admins or not necessarily teachers. So do keep that in mind when I'm making these changes. If you don't see the options to change these yourself, you will have to get in contact with your school administrator and see if that is something that you have access to. But for now, let's change our theme. And I actually created a fun cat theme here. Sometimes back when I was a teacher, I liked making my course kind of to fit my personality. So this is something that my students would definitely have enjoyed. So for now, let's go ahead and press save and close, and you'll see how much my course has already been transformed. So instead of that icon-based, it's now set to text-based. And you'll see that my colors have actually changed within the theme. And instead of having D2L Brightspace up in the corner, I have this fun little cat GIF or GIF, whichever you'd like to call it. But I don't want to stop there. I'd also like to change my course banner. Right now, I feel like my course banner, it is nice. It fits the theme of science. But with it being the beginning of the school year, like I said, I like to put in my own personality a little bit. So let's go here and change the image for our course banner. To do so, you will press the ellipses on the banner spot that says banner settings. And we can press change image here. When we go to change our image, there are a number of pictures that are already added into Brightspace that you can select from. So say I taught math and I wanted to do something math related, I can put that in there. Say I just wanted to be a little bit generic and put school. You get a lot of pencils and lockers and notebooks here. But I actually have a picture that I'd rather upload myself. So to do so, I can just press upload here and go to my computer. And there are going to be a number of things that pop up here. So let's see. The fun part here is remembering where I saved it. It is. All right. You can probably see the name of it there and have an idea of what I'm about to upload, but I'd like to add my science or space cat photo here. So not only did I make my theme kind of cat themed, but I also went ahead and updated my banner here to reflect that as well. It still has kind of science feels with it being in space, but definitely brings out my personality and makes it the course fun for the students when they first log in. The picture actually isn't the only thing that you can change on that course banner. We can also change the banner text. To do so, we'll go back to that ellipses and just press customize banner text. You'll notice that the banner actually says, welcome to the course Victoria. But when I look at the text, it says, welcome to the course first name. So this first name here is actually something that we call a replace string. Replace strings can be used in various different spots throughout Brightspace, but the course banner is one of the most popular. And to see the list of course strings that are available, you can just press this button right here. Replace strings are a great way to be able to personalize the course and make students feel recognized within when they first walk in or log in, I guess you could say. So for this one, I'd like to go ahead and just welcome them to the course itself instead of welcoming them by name. So I'm going to say welcome to, and I will do the name of this particular course. So org unit name. I do encourage you within your own sandbox, play around with these replace strings and see what happens when you put in org unit name, what happens when you put in, role ID and user ID and things like that to really get a feel for which replace strings are relevant for maybe the course banner, or if you get into intelligent agents, what would be relevant there too. And one last thing we recommend is to copy and paste. There have been a number of times where instead of doing the brackets with the, the bracket versus the parentheses, like I'll mistype it and then it'll just say welcome to the course first name. So be sure to copy and paste them just as best practice. So now I press save and it just says welcome to junior/intermediate science. Within the homepage, I know we haven't even really gotten past the top part. We also have a number of things called widgets further down the homepage. Districts can really make Brightspace personalized by adding different widgets, creating custom home pages and templates, and many different schools will actually use Brightspace for things like clubs, activities, and professional development. And they keep it consistent by having certain templates for their home pages with different widgets. So let me show you some examples of what widgets we have available on this page. So when we scroll down, this very first one is called our visual table of contents widget. We also have our activity feed, our announcements. We have our calendar. There's practically no limit to the types of widgets that are available for you, but I'll show you where you can find them and where you can go to customize what your homepage looks like for the rest of the page. To do so, we'll go down to the bottom and you've probably guessed it, but we're going to click on this ellipses here and it says homepage options. To edit this homepage, we will just click on edit this homepage. And you'll see that the workflow for editing the homepage looks very similar to editing the nav bar, very similar to going and customizing most everything within Brightspace. It's essentially the same kind of workflow. So we have our name, we have a description, and then we have different options, like instead of it being widget based, we have other options here as well. But what I really want to point out is our layouts here. So right now you can see that we have the layout where it's one long one, kind of a medium size, small, and then another long one at the bottom. But you have lots of different options. We have just one panel, two panels. We have some with one long along the bottom, but the shorts along the top. So all of these can get either more complex or more simple, depending on what you think is best for your students. I know for those younger learners, having too many panels can be a little bit confusing. So having something simple might be best for some of those younger ones. But for those older learners, you might even be able to do something similar to like the 3 equal panels or 2 equal panels. But now that once you've picked your layout, you can then go and add your widgets to it. I'd actually like to add our quick eval widget. And the quick eval widget is a teacher-only widget that will show you anything that has been submitted and requires grading. So we will talk about it a bit more in depth during our Teaching in a Blended Environment webinar next month. But for now, I'll go ahead and show you how to add it onto your homepage. So to do so, we can just click Add Widgets. And you'll see that we have system widgets as well as custom widgets here. The system widgets are the ones that come with Brightspace, and the custom ones are the ones that you can build yourself or your district can build. So within our system widgets, that's where you'll find Quick Eval. I'm going to go ahead and just type in quick and search. When you know the name of the widget that you want, searching that way can be a lot faster than kind of clicking through all of them, especially if you've built a lot of custom widgets. We'll click the check mark and just press add. You'll see here now that our quick eval has been added to that very top banner. But say I don't like where it is there, all I have to do is just click, drag, and drop it exactly where I want it. Now my quick eval should be right up top next to my activity feed, and then you'll find the announcements and such below that. So let's see what that looks like by pressing save and close. One of the really nice things is that little pop-up, I'm not sure if you noticed, where it says this homepage has been saved successfully. I love that. It's definitely helpful because sometimes I'll click save and I just don't know if it's saved until I can really go and dig into it more. So when we scroll down, you can see quick eval is right here. Right now, I am all caught up in my grading, so that's fantastic. I don't have to deal with that anymore, but it's there for whenever students go and turn in some work in the future. All right, now that we have customized our homepage, let's go ahead and move on to the activity feeds portion. With the activity feed, you can see that I have a variety of posts here. So we have Tammy Thomas. She's one of our instructors here. She's posted kind of a bio. As I scroll down, you can see that we have additional GIFs and images. We have video multimedia here. And then we even have students who have gone and responded and commented on posts as well. So I'm going to show you how to go and actually create an activity feed post. Let me scroll up. And it's probably pretty straightforward, but you can create a post by just clicking on this create a post here at the top. You do actually have the option to either write a message or link to an assignment directly into the activity feed section. So students don't have to go and find that assignment either in the assignment section or within the content space. So that's one fun thing, then a cool way that a lot of people like to use the activity feed. But for now, I'm just going to go and write a message. So the activity feed itself, a lot of people kind of ask, What is the activity feed for? How do teachers use it? It's essentially a social inspired tool that is aligned with familiar patterns, themes, functionalities that students are already familiar with in things like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, if kids are even using Facebook nowadays. But this format essentially makes it easy for them to use and navigate all around. Regularly using an activity feed to share information such as that teacher, portfolio, or just resources, information about field trips and upcoming information. All of that's fantastic and easier than just writing up a newsletter or sending out emails all the time. And one of the best parts about Activity Feed is that the posts are automatically synced with our parent portal, Brightspace for parents and guardians. So you don't have to go and put things on the Activity Feed and send them in an email to parents. Parents, when they log in, should be able to go and see these posts as well. So all that being said, let's see how to go and actually create a post. When I go to create a message here, you'll notice that there's a formatting option that comes up. We can, change it to be bold, italicized, add bullets. We have our insert stuff option here to add multimedia such as YouTube or H5P interactive, so that's something that's available to you. We can insert quick links, which link directly to other materials directly into Brightspace. And then we even have a little emoji section here as well. But for this one, I'm just going to do a simple check for students. I want to know kind of how are they doing today and have them use the link to complete a survey, just giving me kind of like a smile or a sad face, maybe confused or stressed. And here I have the option to either allow or unallow comments. And last but not least, we have the option to post later. This is one of my favorite things because when you, at the end of my workday, or at the end of the school day, I should say, the students are going home and you want to go and get ready for the next week, or you want to get ready for the next day, you don't have to go ahead and just like post everything right away. You can actually schedule things for the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press post later and schedule this for, say, Monday morning. This way I can go ahead and knock out a week's worth of activity feed posts, get them scheduled. I'm going to press save. And then you'll see actually that I have 3 planned posts right here. So if you ever want to know what posts that you have planned, you can click those. And we actually have a number that are planned for later as well. If for some reason you say, oh, this post isn't relevant anymore, I'd like to change it or just delete it altogether, you can go here and edit or delete the message. All right. So that is the activity feed in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and move on to our content space. So when we go up here, I mentioned that visual table of contents right here. This is a great way to organize content for teachers who teach one subject. So you might, if you're teaching science, maybe you have a biology, a chemistry, and a physics unit. So instead of putting them all together, you can put units for each one in that one space. So if I went into my content space, you can kind of see what that looks like there. We have our welcome to science, our biology, our chemistry, and so on. But I want to show you guys what it looks like for those who might teach multiple subjects within one course. So we're going to go to our primary course. In my primary class, you'll see, once again, the homepage, yes, does look a little bit different, but overall, the way that you navigate is consistent and familiar to the other courses. Within this one, we have relabeled our content space as my work, just because those are words that are a bit more familiar to those younger learners. So we're going to go into our my work section. And automatically you can see that this is a little bit different than what our science course looked like. So we have kind of a welcome section here. We have our different subjects, so math, language arts, art, science, social studies. We have a little last week of school kit for at the end of the year for the future. But one of the best parts about these is that you can change the colors of your units. So you can see that this one's green, the next one is kind of a purplish color. And you can also add emojis to help students navigate them. We also have the ability to add subfolders. So you'll see I actually have my teacher resources nested right in here. And within all of our content space, you have the ability to keep that content either hidden or visible to students. And once again, we have these little pop-ups that just let you know, like, hey, you did this thing. This little welcome area is a great place to post things like your classroom rules or your expectations. And like I said, the teacher resources are a great thing to have within your content space. So I know a lot of teachers who might not have used Brightspace in the past, but are trying to get more familiar with it, will go and actually just have all of their teacher resources, their lesson plans, everything right here within Brightspace. They'll have it hidden from students so that way they don't have access to them. But when their school administrator goes and asks them for their lesson plans, anybody asks for, what are your plans for next week? What did you do last week? All of that information is already right there in Brightspace, and they know exactly where to find it. Let's look at kind of this math folder here. You'll see that we actually have this organized for those younger learners as week 1, week 2. Like I said, if we're not on week 2 yet, and I want to have this content in there ready to go, but I don't want to have it visible to students, I can just click that toggle there and have this whole folder hidden from students. And within these subfolders, we have all of our activities as well. So there's lots of different things that are available, like our quizzes, our assignments, our discussions. All of those can be added directly into Brightspace in the content space. But we can also embed things like videos directly in the space as well. So you don't have to open a new tab or get distracted by outside advertisements either. And I know oftentimes students might have had like a workbook where they would write, or maybe like a math journal to keep track of things. One of the cool parts about adding things in here as a discussion in Brightspace is that students can practice their typing skills, but they can also read and respond to other students' work right here in that discussion page. So instead of it being a more static thing that happens within one notebook, the students can go and collaborate and engage with each other. So I know we're getting a little short on time, so I want to show you guys how to create a content page before we jump into that Q&A section. So to do so, I'm going to go into our art section, and we have this shoebox farm activity. I'd like to just go ahead and create directions for it. So to do so, we'll just press create new here, and we'll create a new page. Here, this is what the editor will look like within all content pages. And we have the option to select a template. And this is something I definitely recommend for if you have some templates already uploaded in there, just to go ahead and add something so that way it creates like that consistent look and feel. I'll expand this here. And then here we have the option to edit things. So I actually have some words here that are available. I'm just going to copy and paste them and delete our old things. So this one, it's time for art. We are making shoebox farms. Ooh, I'm copying my whole page. And you'll see that using this editor here, or this template, it's makes the formatting a lot easier. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the directions right here in this section here, just so that way it calls them out in this next big box. There we go. If I'd like to, I can actually highlight this and change it to where it's a different heading. So maybe I want this one to be a heading 3. And maybe I actually want to center these. This editor is very similar to the one that you found in the activity feed. It's going to be the same in announcements and such as well. So once again, that keeps up with that consistency. And the last thing that I want to do is I actually want to go and add just an image as an example. So let's go here and add this right underneath here. And I'll erase this banner here. All right. So we have our, it's time for art. Let me actually go and make a title. That's one of the things that's forgotten the most. And we'll press save and close. You'll notice that once this is finished uploading, you'll notice that the content is automatically added as hidden from students. So that is something that's set to default because we want to make sure that before we share this with any of our learners, that it is completely ready to go. We don't want teachers accidentally clicking save, students having access to things that just either are not complete or something that's for the future. So that's there. And then as we scroll down, you can see that our steps are there and ready to go. And if I'm ready, once again, I can just press visible there. All right. So let's jump back into our learning objectives, make sure that we went over everything. We discussed the homepage and showed some ways that it can be customized, like the course banner. We demonstrated how to create an activity feed post, and we shared tips on how to create and organize your course content within Brightspace. This may have been your first webinar with us, but we do have many more to come. Here's a look at the topics that we have planned through February, and the link to register for these upcoming sessions is in the chat. Our overview page was also linked in the chat, and it lists all of the session descriptions, and you can find links to our past sessions within that page as well. Speaking of webinars, our training team also hosts 2 monthly sessions for all Brightspace users. The first is a Q&A drop-in session where you can get your Brightspace questions answered in real time. And the second is focused on what's new in Brightspace using our monthly release notes. These sessions give you free access to our D2L training team in a way that you might not get otherwise. So be sure to check them out if you're available. And you can find a link with more information on those sessions in the chat as well. We also invite you to join the D2L Champions program. Being a champion gives you the opportunity to receive points for attending webinars, submitting blog posts, and even giving us reviews online. You can then redeem these points for swag, gift cards, and additional D2L services. The link to sign up to be a champion will be in the chat as well. And we would love to hear from you guys. We've created a post-session surveys, and we'd appreciate if you could share your feedback with us just to help us improve our offerings for future sessions and better meet your needs. If you'd like to participate in the survey, there is that link in the chat, or you can scan the QR code that you see on your screen. Okay. And last but not least, we have time for a quick discussion or just, a reflection on how you're using Brightspace within your classroom now, what you feel like you learned today. I do have a few suggestions that we can start with. So how are you currently using widgets on your homepage? What is your favorite way to use the activity feed? And just to share something that you learned today that you'd like to implement in your classroom this year. So the chat is open and available for anyone to respond in or send messages in, or you can raise your hand using the Zoom raise hand feature, and you're welcome to come off mute.
Victoria, maybe I'll start with a comment. Something I
Yeah.
really loved when I was teaching in Brightspace was using that activity feed, and you called it out here. The thought of writing newsletters and emailing them through Outlook to my parents and families, and having to share notes with my learners in one place and my parents in another place. I really found the activity feed extremely helpful because it does have that connection, as you mentioned, with Brightspace for parent and guardian. So not only are you sharing that information with your learners inside of Brightspace, but you're also sharing that in an automated way with parents and families who'll be able to access that information through the parent and guardian portal. So it's, as you showed on the screen, it's a great place for field trip notices, exciting in-class events, school events that you want to pinpoint for your specific class. Just something that's really cool about Activity Feed and something from my life teaching in Brightspace that I loved. Oh, yes. Okay. So, Rosalind, thank you so much for your question in the Q&A. She's asked, can you explain the building block structures of modules, so the content pages? So she's asking, can we kind of understand, the unit versus the lesson versus the page, that kind of thing? Victoria, if you're able to show us that live, that would be great.
Yeah, of course. And I know starting with a blank shell can be definitely a bit intimidating. So I don't have like a blank course to start with, but essentially when you go and you create a new thing, you would kind of start with create a new unit here. So we have this option to create a unit, and that's where you would go, and it's the same kind of editing box and everything where you go and create your unit title. So let's say that this is just very simple unit 1. And you don't have to worry about adding a due date or anything like that. But we do actually have one thing I meant to note earlier is that we do have availability dates as well. So if you wanted to like say this unit's available from September through October, you can set those particular dates here. So students are only able to access it then. But otherwise, you just have your unit there and you press save and close. So now we have our unit 1. And within that unit 1, we can either add existing materials. So say you have something in either Google Drive, OneDrive, if you've already created assignments or discussions or things like that, you can access all of those here. But if you don't have anything in Brightspace, don't have anything in Google Drive or anything, you can just start with creating new. So from here, you have the option to make a subfolder, which would be a new lesson. Or you can create things like content pages or activities, such as the assignments, discussions, and quizzes. So our new lesson, like I said, would be a subfolder. So maybe it's, I'm being very basic here, but this is unit 1 point, unit 1, section 1. You can press save and close there. And you'll notice that this is just another folder nested under here. So if I wanted to create a new page within this subfolder, I just press create new, create page, and I will very aptly name this page 1.1. And I see you've raised your hand, so let me go ahead and set you off mute. Or you're able to talk now if you're able to come off mute as well.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, all right, I see how to do that. So I see there's units and then lesson, and then in there you could have pages. Once you've done that, is it possible to drag and drop order on that side, or to drag something and drop it in a new module if you ended up creating it in the wrong place, let's say?
I know that's something we used to not be able to do within the content space, but let me kind of play around with it. So right now, this page is under the subfolder. You should be able to drag it. Let's see. It's currently now underneath.
Oh, okay.
Now it just exists on its own. Let's try to put it underneath this unit. Now it's underneath Reddit. So yes, that is something that you should be able to go and drag and drop. It used to be something that you actually had to go to a separate space called our course builder tool. But I think this is just one of our newest updates where you can just drag and drop right here in the course space or the content space.
And then to get rid of something, if you wanted to delete something.
If you want to delete it, you'll just come here to the little ellipses here and just press delete.
Okay, thank you.
There are two options here. So there's like remove the topic from content, but keep the associated file. So if you have like an assignment within that content space or a quiz, something else that's linked within Brightspace, this would just delete it from the content space, but not delete the whole assignment. If you press permanently delete both the content and the associated file, then that would delete the quiz from the quiz section as well as the content space. Not trying to make it more complicated, but just want to give you that note just in case.
Thank you.
One of the things, Rosalind, that you might also want to consider, and I don't know, Victoria, this is very on the spot and you may not have anything set up on the screen to do this today, but just so you know, when you're getting started in a blank course, you can also actually drag and drop PDF files, for example, straight from your desktop or your file explorer into Brightspace. And you can do that straight from the content area or drag and drop into this space here. So if you actually don't have the time, for example, which we know is the case a lot of the time, especially at the beginning of the year, to go in and actually write a description and do all that kind of stuff, Victoria's just shown you, she's actually dragged that from her desktop screen right in there, and it'll just populate on into your content space. So if you have a lesson, for example, that you've already have in PDF format, you can pop it in here and it will populate in here as a PDF in a really nice, clean way. So you can get started using materials that you already have. And Victoria, if you go into the Add Existing button, which you've done a couple times here, you can see here that if you're hooked up to things like your Google Drive or your OneDrive, you can explore those spaces where your materials might already live if you're brand new to Brightspace and actually bring those in through that connection. It does depend whether your district has connected those systems or not. But we've done that so folks like you that are just getting started have that ability and don't have to spend lots of time creating. And then, you know, in between lessons or classes, you might have time to go in and add that, you know, personalization with some text or some imagery and things like that. So just another piece. Thanks, Victoria, for showing that as I was talking.
Yeah.
If you were to drag in that PDF, is it a PDF or does it become editable text?
It drags in as a PDF if you use the drag and drop functionality. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's actually processing a PowerPoint that I just dragged and dropped. So it might take a little bit of time because it is essentially it's the PowerPoint from this now. But you'll see that it is now in PDF format for this particular one.
And this can actually be downloaded by learners as well, which is a really neat part of adding PDFs in PDF format and bringing in PowerPoints and things like that. If you're sharing something in front of your classroom, say you had a physical class where you were using Brightspace as a tool for resources, you can put those slides that you shared in the classroom up into Brightspace. Tell your learners, you know, when you get home, if you want to take a look at this or download it, it's available to you on your Brightspace classroom. And it's very easy to download. You see the cloud icon there with the arrow. That is the download button.
And just one quick note, I know we're just a little over time, but I just want to share this with you, especially if you're new to Brightspace. If you are not sure or just didn't know this already, you do actually have the ability to see as a learner what the learner sees. So we can go into kind of your name here and press view as a student. And it'll go back to my home page here. But if we go back into my work, we'll be able to see kind of this is what all of those units look like. All of those are available to a student right now. And then we have that unit 1, section 1, and we have our presentation here. So if I click on that, it gives me the option to print this right here or download it. So you'll see what it looks like when I just drag and dropped this presentation here.